All right. Hey, I was just thinking, I should do a video about what I'm doing here. But really quickly, so I'm in a new place, and instead of being in a hotel now, in the middle of a really sort of a town surrounded by 12 and 24-story buildings, Bournemouth, which is amazing, lovely place, and I had a lovely hotel room, but it's all very corporate and very like empty, right? Very soulless. Well, now I'm in a little guest house and I'm right next to the sea. Like behind that door is a corridor, and a window of that corridor you can see the sea. I will do a video in a bit, perhaps, like because I've got Wi-Fi now, so hopefully I'll be able to upload proper longer format things. So yes, I'm in a new place and it's a bed and breakfast. Well, it's a guest house and I just had breakfast. It's like, so I've got like a nutritional backstop. Because when I bought those like brand new guitars, I did cut it kind of fine of like whether I could actually live. But no, I have done, but it's been like having a breakfast in place, no matter what, that's a really valuable thing right now. It introduces a bit of stability, which is exactly what I'm after. But let's get into it. So, as you might recall, thanks for everybody wishing me happy birthday, by the way. Now, let me just say that this was indeed a birthday present from my mate Mark James, right? Bless him, bless his cotton socks. But it was about a month after actually my birthday. My birthday is right in the middle of September. Thanks for the belated wishes, but I just wanted to clarify that because anybody that knows me, like on Facebook, would have wished me happy birthday around then, because you get the Facebook things. And if you want to find me on Facebook, it's Tim Fox. At some point, I'll work out how to put the Facebook glyph up so you can go straight to it from this channel. But I only just got this, because I don't see Mark that often. It was his first opportunity to give it, and he also gave me some really cool pedals as well. And I'm a bit gutted because that was the great thing about where I was in the last hotel, was having him around the corner, having a mate around the corner. So when I got this the other day, like I cleaned it up. It was covered in like pine needles and tobacco, and so I cleaned it up and gave it a very basic setup. Well, I'm just basically continuing that setup now. So I've just like leveled out the bridge. It hasn't been played for a while, and everything works. All the switches work. Everything works, which is quite amazing. Time to sort of tell you a bit more about this and as we go on. So I've levelled up the bridge. It was kind of sunk on the treble side, so we've levelled off. I've given it a slightly more raised action than what it came with, just because like I tend to play with a slightly higher action than is considered sort of guitar shop normal. I've done a tiny little bit of restoration, and it's not restoration really, but I've actually put the Allen keys there, like from a set where a keyring Allen key thing broke, and it's just enough to give you like feel tight with this sort of like shepherd crook end. So I've actually got the correct Allen keys on the back of the headstock, and I know Mark will appreciate that, because he was at great pains to tell me that, it hasn't got a whammy bar and it hasn't got the Allen keys, which of course is obviously a disaster and makes the whole thing a bitter disappointment. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Mark, this is the coolest present. Like, I am so chuffed with this. As I think I've said already, it's so far up my alley, it's coming out the other side. Now, when I was showing off the PV Raptor, which is a good companion actually for this. But when I was showing off the PV Raptor and I was saying I really want to fly the flag for Encore, because a lot of us start with those Encores. A lot of people, it's their first guitar, and they're not altogether terrible. It's like what you make out of them really, and they're perfectly, like, some of them have got nice timbers. And all they need is a kind of bit of love and understanding, to be honest, and they're really good guitars. So I've been like actually keeping my eye out for an Encore since the beginning of the year, about. And if that PV Raptor, I got that for 60 quid. The guy done me like a lovely deal on that. It was the usual guitar broker, and he's a shop, So that was a great deal. Especially, right, and I'll tell you all as a piece of advice. Right now, at some point someone's going to notice that the Squires that come out of the same factories at the same time made of the same materials to the same standards as these of the same age are sort of starting to creep into sort of stupid Fender numbers now as regards second-hand price. And yet these, you know, on a bad day you could get one of these for 100 quid, and this is tidy and it's got that proper fade of real age, you know, it's actually like a proper fade. It's like, this is real distress, you know, like being like early to mid 90s is just enough to get that UV degradation and whatnot. But needless to say, you can have what people are paying real money for, between 400 and 600 quid for a Squire equivalent of this. You know, if you can get it for less than that, you know, you can, you know, you're doing a good deal. But, you know, I think that's ridiculous when you can go off brand and get this if you want it, you know. And let's not be like fucking kidding ourselves. Like, some of these are nice. They've got like the character that comes with a bit of age, and they weren't bad guitars to begin with. You know, it's just the guitar marketing system that will make you lose confidence in some of the sort of stuff. But you know, like, guitars are built to a higher standard generally at the lower end now, if you're discerning. You know, if you're discerning. It's like, this is a conversation I'm going to get into later on, but like, you know, I recently bought 3 guitars brand new, as you know, and prior to that, you know, because we're coming up, I think it's like 18 solid body electrics now, well, including the hollow body, but you know, the Ibanez. But it's like, you know, we're coming up to sort of 20 guitars, and it's like, you know, 5 of those were bought brand new, and it's like, is it still justified? And I'm going to say yes, and that's a video for later on. But let's get back to the matter in hand. So I've just like given this a rough tune, got it into tune with just the other guitars lying about, not on the digital thing, and now I've just locked up the nut, yeah, with that there, and I've done it feel tight. Okay, I didn't go mad. I used the short end of the Allen key at the top, right, rather than it go the normal way around. And I just do it to feel tight like that. That's all you need to lock it, right? You don't need much. It's not a car, you know, it's more like a fine-tuned racing bike or fishing gear, you know, it's something that you do delicately and by feel. Right, so now I'll do the final tuning with the fine tuners, because these act better when they've got like a bit of load on them, right? You need to be careful if you've got one of these Bandmaster type things. You know, keep some, like, under-tune it, lock it, and just under-tune it slightly, and then take up some load with the fine tuners, and it'll just hold itself more stable, or at least that's what I remember.